Generally speaking, and accepting that there are always exceptions to generalisations, most Aboriginal people tend to stay in their traditional lands. The majority of Aboriginal people lived in the northern part of Australia, not the southern part. I looked at Australian history. I realised that Aboriginal people were given maybe a paragraph or a chapter, and it was a generic coverage. It wasn't about Aboriginal people as people. A lot of it has been lost, but not. We've still got enough going with Aboriginal people, you know, the Kunjin, the Cockaberra, the Cockamingena, you know, all of these Aboriginal people have survived massive massacres in the 19th century, and then a 20th century of total control in virtually concentration camps called missions and reserves. And they still have survived and still remember and are still producing positive aspects which we should be proud of as Australians.
I was born on my own country. That's me, where you see the outline there. That's what we got, the Uruman determination of the native title. And in the middle of it, that's the Eagle. That's our totem of my tribe. My tribe is Uruman tribe. That's on my homeland. So, yeah. It was very hard for me because I was one of them stolen generations and put out here. They call it a mission station then, was run by the government, and that's where I was brought up. Around this country here, this place I'm living now, it's called Kuranda, and I was raised up here. I was under the Act. I wasn't allowed to go back on my home country. So, but that's why I know a lot about the rainforest, you know. I learned a lot about making stuff. They're all returning boomerangs. They come from the root, and all our old people never used to have the machine I got here now. They all used to make them. They had stone axes and all that sort of stuff, you know. They used to grind it in the rocks, sharpen their spears, everything. Even the boomerang, they used to make them out of the elbow of the tree, you know. Yeah, things change a lot, you know. It's a pity, but I'd like the history keep going, you know, because that's very important to tell our grannies, hey, don't forget, you know, your great-granny father come from up there. You come from around that area. So, yeah, it's good to keep our culture alive. That's why we make a lot of this stuff, you know. So, and tell our children, this is what your great-granny used to use, you know.
When I was young, mainly hang around with my grandfather and my father, which is like they taught me a lot of stuff, a lot of things. And I've been doing woodcarving half of my life. So like I was saying, all my uncles and all them are master carvers. So I want to do something different. So all of them are they're really happy what I'm doing now. It's totally different. What are they doing from me? But they asked me that question, like, are you still gonna go back and do wood carving? I said, yeah, I'm still doing wood carving. This is just a next step up for me. Next in the future, probably teaching next generation. For us, we still have to carry on the traditional thing and traditional hunting and all that stuff. Some of them, like now this generation, don't into that stuff anymore, but we have to, like ceremonies and all that stuff, we still have to continue doing that. Doesn't matter where you're in city or where, there's a time, like, you know, when for men's ceremony happening, you just have to go and, you know, no matter you're living in a modern life, but you still have to continue the traditional life.
And I think we need to reassess all of these things. We need to start to embrace the humanity of all peoples. And that's what I thought when I looked at how Aboriginal people have been treated. They were basically, the Aborigines did this, the Aborigines did that. Well, yeah, but there wasn't a name to the person, right? There wasn't a language to the person. And there was somewhere in the vicinity of about 450 languages spoken in Australia pre-contact. I'm trying to push the idea that we need to rethink how we look at our history and be proud of our Indigenous people who represent 50,000 years of continuous occupancy. And they're very clever, very caring and loving people. And all peoples have their faults. And we have a whole range of problems in this country, but a lot of it, I believe, stems from the way white Australia has treated them over the past 150 odd years. And that's why I'm particularly keen on seeing recognition of Indigenous Australia.
Well, my name's Bram Collins. I'm the Managing Director here at Undara. This is a family business. and my family were the first European settlers here in 1862. And well, David and I grew up together here. His family and my family lived on this land. David is a traditional owner. He is a descendant of the Uraman people, the original owners of the land.
I'm an entertainer, and my traditional homelands are where we sit. And I'm very, very happy and pleased that you've come out to my traditional country. And where we are at the moment, we're at a place called Undara. So we're here with my mate Bram Collins, and between him and I, we do a lot of work in educating people about who we are as Indigenous Australians and Australians.
We were children together. We've been friends our entire life, and we work together here in this area. So we both have a very, very strong connection to this country. You know, it's very important for us to maintain those connections with the traditional owners, and it's a relationship that has been highly valued and nurtured for many, many years.
See, and you light all this here, burn right around, countless generations. He has a business that are the Undara lava tubes, and so it's good to see that the country is being utilised for what it is, and people can see the natural environment, you know, with the tubes and the bush and the bird life and all these things that you're being seeing come from the land. For example, the didgeridoo. It's a tree. It's now turned into a musical instrument, and this has been played for countless generations. I've been playing the didgeridoo since I was a kid. My uncles taught me how to make a didgeridoo and how to play it. So when I was 18, I realised that the didgeridoo is a great way to educate people about who we are as Indigenous Australians. So I'm keeping that tradition alive. Before, it was used specifically for cultural purposes, ceremonies. The didge now, we don't say didgeridoo, but saying that there, the Aboriginal word for this is yiggy yiggy. I call this thing the ancient voice of the future, because not too many people knew what a didgeridoo was, but when you hear the didgeridoo, you're like, whoa, I like that sound. And when you think of Australia, you think of a didgeridoo. Okay, that's one raw didgeridoo.
They show a diversity of creativity and understanding the subtleties of the weather and how the environment affected. They could tell. If you knew their patterns of movement, it was all related to the seasonal activities based on and regulated by seasonal changes.
He was up here in about 1845, and he had some journals that he wrote about his experiences up here, and they were the first guides to this area. We know that in this area, fire became a common part of this environment maybe about 8 million years ago when the first volcanoes started. The volcanoes erupted, and the lava that flowed across the country burned out the original vegetation, and the vegetation that grew after the fires slowly evolved and adapted and changed to become more fire resistant. When Indigenous people arrived in this area, they too used fire, and they would burn an area that they had lived in. So they continued this traditional style of moving and burning, which again influenced the development or evolution of our trees and our grasses. And we'd watched what the Aboriginal people did and why they burnt, and created what we refer to as a mosaic burning pattern.
That's right. The water.
People who live on the land have to conserve the environment. And for us, that's been an important part of our management style, because I believe that if you have a business in the environment and all you focus on is your business and your financial return at the end of the day, without conserving the environment, that's not sustainable. But also, if you only focus on the environment and not your business, that too is unsustainable. Our management philosophy goes back many, many years. A lot of, after white settlement here, a lot of Aboriginal people, because of their such great understanding of the bush and the environment and the animals that lived within it, they were the best stockmen and workers on the land because they understood the land. So my family has always had a lot of Aboriginal people working with us on the land because they've sort of been able to share their knowledge and understanding and appreciation for this country. Now, we have to learn to live within the environment. The environment, it's always changing. It's never stays the same.
It'd be fantastic to come walk the land with Aboriginal people, and you meet people like Graham Collins and his father, and they can explain to you what the different woods are and why it's important with sustainability and maintaining the land. So that's what it's about. If you cut a tree down, you grow 10 more trees. And my culture is a living culture. We still live, if not traditionally, we live semi-traditionally. And if you live in the city, well, you don't lose your culture, but you're living in the city. So sure, I might drive a car, but I still have the opportunities to come bush and just to get away from all the bright lights and the fast cars, and come out here and just sit amongst the breeze and hear all the birds chirp, see the kangaroos, and that's what I like. And I like to bring my visitors here so they can experience what I experience.
I'll do everything I can to make you proud to be my man.
And I fulfill and I'll always be here for you, and I'll stand by you through our rocking years. Rocking chairs, rocking babies, rock-a-bye, rock of ages, side by side we'll be together always. And I'll always be here for you, and I'll stand by you through our rocking years, through our rocking years.
We need more Aboriginal actors, but some of our best and most noteworthy actors, they're not stunningly beautiful in the classic westernised sense, but they're stunningly beautiful as people and the characters they play, and that's what's important. And I think that we need to be proud of our Indigenous people in this country. So that's the reason why I'm continuing to do this, because we need to reassess and rewrite how we portray ourselves as Australians.
My name is Sitfo. My traditional name is Kuju Kuju, and this area here is Cairns. It's named Gimoy. It's my tribal country. We do smoking every year as part of CIAF when we welcome people on country. It's a part of our ceremony too. It's because when you come onto our country, when you walk around and come here on this country, our old people, and our old people are our ancestors, the spirits of our ancestors are here. And if they don't know you and they don't smell you from this area, you may have an accident or something might go wrong with you. It's like bad luck if you don't get yourself smoked. So we do the smoking ceremony so the old people from this country, all our ancestors, smell you and they know that you got the blessing from the people here.
So CIAF started in 2009. It was an initiative of the Queensland Government and it was about supporting Queensland, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island artists, mostly visual artists, but also performers, dance and music and theatre. And so it's about sharing the culture from far north Queensland with everyone, non-Indigenous people and people from around the world, which is good because then you can meet the artists when you're purchasing the work and they can tell you the story about the inspiration for creating the work.
So it's a unity call to mark the start of our ceremony.
Go, Lessons from the past I've taken and I've learned. From the desert to the sea, this land belongs to you and me. Running through my veins, black, red and yellow history.
Well, this particular art fair, CIAF, is unique because it's only for Queensland Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander artists at the moment.
I feel that art is a big key of keeping our culture alive. So if you can do art, if you can do anything to do with your culture, do it, because it's the only way that we're going to keep the Indigenous people of the world alive. And yeah.
I would like to say to the viewers of this to investigate the deep spiritual aspect of Australian Indigenous art, because the art actually comes from the very origins of their spirituality.
I think to respect their culture, to understand that each culture, each Indigenous culture within Australia is quite unique. It's very diverse.
My children crying out to me, so I must appreciate their destiny. So I sing out
I love working with children, and because the children are our next generation, they're our next eyes. So if we can teach the next generation, that's what's important, because they will keep the culture going strong.
We should be proud of as Australians, and it's starting to happen. It's gradually, very, very slowly, but it's happening, and I'm really pleased to see that, because we haven't had that in the past.
Thank you.